Hey, good Thursday morning, and thanks for logging on to bamwx.com for a quick short and long range forecast update. I'm meteorologist Michael Clark. We're taking a look here at rainfall month to date. And boy, I tell you what, places in the central plains have just been slammed with rain and delaying folks getting out there and getting the crop out. And the clients here in Indiana that still can't start cutting beans until next week, and it's been a little bit of a struggle. It's not a big deal. I mean, they're going to get them out. It just delays it a little bit. But widespread rains in Iowa of 4.5 inches or more, and then we also had a lot of really good rain here in a lot of the drought-stricken areas here across Illinois and Indiana. So expect to see some improvement from that somewhat. Remember, the drought monitor is kind of junky and ends on Tuesday, so whatever. Not a big fan of it. But taking a look here at the NAM computer model over the next 84 hours, additional rainfall in the forecast both across the North Plains into Minnesota, Wisconsin, and then this front that will be coming through the area over the weekend. There will be some strong to severe storms possible here as this front moves through, and then the Pacific Northwest precipitation really starts to ramp up as well. All right, you can see here on the 10-day rainfall forecast from the European model that we do, in fact, have some heavy rain in the forecast, especially from eastern Iowa, all of Missouri for the most part, and going through central Illinois and all through central Michigan. Michigan needing the rain as well. They're going to really cash in on some rain and really help out their dry condition, as they can see locally 2 to almost 4 inches of rainfall from this weekend. So pretty interesting to see this active pattern continue, even though models said it wouldn't. This is the severe storm risk here on Saturday. And again, the main focus here with where we're going to see this, I think the best chances of severe weather, really kind of right in this area here. We're looking at southern Iowa, northern Missouri, and I think that's where the best focus will be, up closer towards the area of low pressure and the cold front. And again, a couple of isolated tornadoes, maybe some hail and some damaging wind. Now, over the course of the next 15 days, what we're taking a look at right now is temperature or precipitation departure, looking at the mega cluster data. And there's obviously some major discrepancies in the week 2 time frame with precipitation. We've got a lot of the American and the Canadian guidance that keep it very dry in a lot of the winter wheat regions down here, keeping it drier than normal. And then out of nowhere last night, the European ensemble just came in soaking wet. So we got a big discrepancy here between 200 and 300% of the normal rainfall, or perhaps only 10% of the normal. We got to watch how this pans out. My gut says the European may pull out ahead on this thing, but we'll see how it goes going forward. You'll see that in my week 2 outlook reflected in just a second. But going through the temperature department, look at the second cluster in the 11 to 15. We are starting to see these cooler risks increase. And we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But again, in that week 2 time frame, you can see I did keep some equal chances in here. I didn't go as dry as the American model guidance, but I didn't go obviously nearly as wet as the European guidance. So there is some chances in here that some rainfall will make it down to that region. We'll have to see how that pans out going forward. This ridge is still ridiculously strong for the 6 to 10 day period, so it does keep week 2 warm overall. But I think getting closer 26th, we'll start to see a little bit of a cool down. I think that big front is still around the 29th or so that will bring possible big pattern change to the region here. As we look at this, days 1 through 5, the ridge is here, right? And we have a trough here. Well, days 11 through 15, which is our mega cluster data, everything blended together puts a strong ridge here. A little bit of ridging in the North Atlantic, and you're left with a possible trough here in the eastern United States. And so the trough there is going to lead to much cooler weather. The question is going to be is how cool can we get with this strong Pacific jet stream? How cold, how much below normal is it really going to be? Well, let's put it this way. Normal to end October and open November is chilly. It's not necessarily warm. Will it be below the average, maybe a degree or two? I'm not looking for an intense cold with such an amped up Pacific jet stream. It's going to really mitigate those 2-meter temperature anomalies. But nonetheless, the day 15 mega clusters are still showing that eastern U.S. trough with a great deal of blocking being advertised here. And that's something that can certainly lead to cold, no doubt about that. When we look at this pattern going forward here, wrong graphic, let me go back to this, these teleconnections. We talked about the blocking here. Again, look at the Eastern Pacific Oscillation trend on the European, continues to trend towards that negative state. And then the North Atlantic Oscillation, which is the Greenland block, the NAO continues to trend slightly negative as well. And when we have those negative composites, those negative teleconnections in November, these are the looks that we get. So it certainly yields colder risks here to the east. Again, factoring in that Pacific jet stream, how cold can it get? All right. Beyond day 15, beyond this cool-off coming, what are we showing here? Well, we're still showing that some eastern U.S. warmth could still be in the picture here a little bit as we end October and open November. But as we rumble deeper into this pattern, in the middle of the 6 to 10 day period is the 20th of November. So adding 17 days to that is going to put us out to around the 7th of November. Again, Bering Sea, we are in the middle of this. So you see the big eastern U.S. trough, you see the ridge up there to the north and west. All right, then you get out into the 11 to 15 day period, and there's just a big trough here over the Bering Sea. So indications are that this would correlate to a much colder, or not much, let's say colder than normal eastern U.S. for November. And the updated 16 to 30 day analogs, they show the same thing. Some of those top years being 06, 03, 01, and 02 and 05. So there's some years in there that are relatively chilly relative to normal. As you can see here, this is the 16 to 30 day time frame, lining up with our organic methods up there. So the other thing that we have going for us is an active MJO pulse that, again, we've covered this every day this week. That's also going to increase the blocking potential and increase the cold potential. Looking at the angular momentum, going into November, still keeping that same thought of a possible colder eastern U.S. based on that. Looking at atmospheric ENSO index, looking at everything that's kind of driving the pattern here from a forcing standpoint from ENSO, which is La Nina or El Nino. This is the look you're getting for November, which again is colder to the east. I think if I had any disagreement with this, I think there would probably be a lot more warmth in this region here and colder off to the east. But a lot of the research is cold for November in the eastern U.S. A lot of the model data is not. That's the problem. That's what we have to sift through here over the next week or so. If you have any questions, let us know. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.